hold your breath, make a wish, count to 3. Come with me. Who said that? I was worried about that.
I want to say something like off a rainbow and zippy or something.
Into a world of pure imagination. Any ideas? Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka said that. Willy Wonka of the amazing film, one of my favourite films and favourite books of all time, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I've been talking about Willy Wonka quite a lot recently because my daughter has become immersed in the story. She is really letting her imagination run wild with the chocolate rivers and the Oompa Loompas. And she asked me to tell her the story on the way to school and back from school. And the other day I was thinking about Christmas. And I was thinking, what do I get her for Christmas? And I saw online this amazing book. And it's a beautifully illustrated version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And it's got the golden ticket on the front. And it looked amazing. And when it came through the post, it smelt of chocolate. And it actually came with this postcard as well. And I was like, oh. And the postcard actually smells of chocolate too. And I thought, I'm going to do something really special with this. I'm going to put it in an envelope, give it to my daughter after school, and tell her that it's from Willy Wonka. So I did. And she took it and she opened it. And she saw the emblem down there. And she said, wow, does that mean that I'm going to meet Willy Wonka? I was like, maybe. Maybe it means that something's coming. And she's like, wow, look at that, that's amazing. And then I saw the cogs whirring through her mind, and I realised actually she's 5 and she's not silly. And she said to me, but Mum, does Willy Wonka actually exist? And I was a bit stumped, I didn't know how to respond. So my quickest retort was, darling, anything can be real if you just use your imagination. And that's got me thinking about imagination, because kids have so much imagination, don't they? They're always thinking, they're always daydreaming. But by the time we get to be adults, we kind of lose it a bit. And there was a study done by a man called Daniel Gilbert, and he said that as adults, we're walking around on autopilot 50% of the time. We're actually dulling our senses, and we're in this habitual ritual of getting up, going to work, coming home. And we're not experiencing as much as we could be experiencing. And the other thing that we do is, because life's hard, right? Shit happens. And the way that we deal with that is by avoiding or pushing what a lady called Glennon Doyle Melton calls easy buttons. And easy buttons look different depending on who you are. For some people, an easy button looks like eating quite a lot of coffee and walnut cake. For other people, it's gin and tonic. For other people, it might be hours and hours of binge watching Netflix. And sometimes we do this because we're not willing or able to deal with the deeper emotion that's going on. And I'm not saying that gin and tonics or coffee and walnut cake are bad. You know, escapism is good. But if we're doing this a lot of the time, maybe we're avoiding something that we should be listening to. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I pushed easy buttons for a very long time. And I didn't realise it. I was walking around thinking that I was very self-aware, I was switched on, and I was happy when I wasn't at all. A lady called Tasha Eurich did a study and found that in terms of self-awareness, 95% of people think that they're self-aware, but only 5% of people actually are. I was in the 95%. I was walking around, numbing out, tapping out, eating copious amounts of coffee and walnut cake, and doing lots of other things, and not actually listening to my feelings. And the reason why I was doing that is because before I had children, I was a confident, alert, aware person. I had a senior career in learning and development, executive coaching, and I thought I was very confident. And then my daughter came along in 2012, and the whole world changed. And anybody with children in the room, I'm sure you can relate to this. This is an ordinary tale. There's nothing extraordinary here. But it really did have an impact on me. Because I was so clear on who I was before children came along, I felt completely untethered afterwards. It felt like I couldn't relate to the person I was before I had my daughter. And that had a big impact. So she didn't sleep She didn't sleep at all because she had health issues that were undiagnosed. That made me very anxious, and I got diagnosed with postnatal anxiety disorder. So every day I was catastrophising. I wasn't in the present. I wasn't being alert to what was happening around me. I was thinking of the worst case scenario constantly every day. And this made me go into be a recluse. I withdrew. I didn't want to see people. I left my career, I left my high-flying career and started up a business where I didn't really have to see anybody or speak to anybody. And actually, one of my friends is in the audience. I remember walking down the street once and seeing her and walking the other way because I couldn't actually face speaking to her. I didn't know what to say. And this actually got quite bad. I was pushing those easy buttons all over the place, tapping out, ignoring and numbing. And on the birth of my second son, things actually took their toll. He also had health issues, and it had a huge impact on my marriage. So just a few weeks after my son was born, my husband moved out, and I was faced with a 3-year-old and a newborn and an empty house. And suddenly, all of a sudden, the easy buttons didn't work anymore. So no amount of coffee and walnut cake was going to drown out the noises, the noisy emotions that I was experiencing. And so it was at that point that I had to wake up. A lot of people call it the rude awakening, the wake-up call, because I was on autopilot, and then all of a sudden I had to snap out of that, and I had to become aware of what I was feeling. And so started a journey, and that was actually around 2 years ago this week that started. And the journey has been one that I never, ever thought possible. Today I stand before you, the person that I was. But I'm now doing things that I never dreamed possible. Standing on a stage and talking to you, when I was in my hole, it would have made me physically sick. I thought that was gone, never to be done again. Give up, it's not worth it, all of those sorts of things. But now, I am now helping women all over the world find their voice, as Zoe said. I'm loving and living every day. I've been able to stand on a TED stage and share my message. And people ask me, well, what happened? How did you turn that around? What did you do to go from feeling like that to completely changing how you feel and doing all these things? So that's what I want to share with you tonight. 3 things that you all could do, no matter where you are on your journey, that can really help you make your dreams become a reality. So here we go. So the first thing that I had to do was make a choice. We're walking around on autopilot. Some of us have the rude awakening, but wouldn't it be great if we could take action before that rude awakening happens? So the first thing to do is to make that choice to become self-aware. It's really, really key. It's really important to think, okay, I am going to go on this trip. But in order to go on this trip, you have to believe that you're worthy of it. So that's really the first port of call in making a choice. For me, I didn't believe I was worthy of anything. My beliefs got so bad that I was thinking, I don't even have time to wash my hair. I'm not worthy of washing my hair as a mum because my children need me more. And now I think about that and I think that's just crazy, but that's how I thought at the time. So I had to change the beliefs that I had about myself. One belief, for example, was, I don't know anything anymore. All my 15 years skills and experience left the building, gone out the door. And I knew that belief wasn't really true and it didn't serve me. So I literally flipped them around. I changed the I don't know anything to I have everything within me to be mighty and successful. And I literally repeated that every single day. I had alerts coming off my phone for all the different beliefs. So the first step is making a choice and believing that you're worthy of the trip. Change those beliefs that are holding you back. Because if you take one step forward, and you don't believe that you're worthy of it, you'll stop there. So that was the first thing. The second was I actually started to dream. Now, when you're on autopilot, you're not tapping into your imagination and you're not actually thinking of the possibilities that could be real for you. You don't actually believe that those possibilities could be real. It's that type of not possible for me. And that was me too. But once I started to change my beliefs, then I started to think about dreams. And the first thing I needed to do was create a self-awareness anchor. Because if you've lost your identity, if anybody can relate to this at all, you need to kind of anchor yourself back in. And a really good way to do that is to get really clear on your needs and your values. So getting clear on my needs was really important. And if I was to ask you, what are your needs? You know, some people think, I don't actually know. But if you just spend time thinking, what do I need? What does that look like? And what does that give me? Then you can start requesting that those needs are met. So for me, it was, what do I need? I actually need time alone. I didn't think I was worthy of that before, but I do. I need time alone every day. And it's just 10 minutes, but that's what I need. And it looks like me reading a book on my own. And what does that give me? It gives me peace and calm and relaxation. So once I started getting clear on these, I could request that they were met, and my husband and my family could request that their needs were met too. So it was win-win. Then the values. So values are really, really good to get clear on because they're like a compass and a decision-making tool. So if you ever feel you're not sure about making decisions in life, get really clear on your values. So for me, getting clear on my values meant thinking, okay, I used to have fun. I was all about the fun. I was all about the fun before kids came along. And then I thought that I couldn't have fun anymore because I was a mum now. But actually that wasn't true. And so fun became the new value. Honesty, integrity, and courage became my new driving force because I thought I never had it before. And then all of a sudden, here it was. And it still is my driving force. So something like tonight. Am I having fun? Yes. Honest, am I being honest? Yes. Am I standing in integrity? Yes. Am I being courageous? Yes. So it's a really great way to make sure that everything I'm doing in line with my values. So create that self-awareness anchor and then start dreaming in Technicolor. And this is where it gets really fun because you can start thinking of all the possibilities and make that really, really vivid and make it in Technicolor and look at what that looks like and what does that feel like and how will you feel when you're doing it. And I did this with my TED Talk. So I set myself the goal last January. I said, but this year, that's what I want to do. And I started visualising myself on a stage in front of lots of people and I'm hearing the applause and feeling the achievement and the warm lights and the sense of fulfilment. And I started getting that really, really clear in my mind. And the wonderful thing about this is we have a bit of science in our brains that helps us to do this. We've got what's known as the reticular activating system. I'm sure some of you may have heard of this. What it does is it filters out the millions of bits of data that you're absorbing through your senses every day, and it helps you focus on the important things. So if you're focusing on the bad things, on the negative things, on the catastrophizing things, it will help you find those things. But if you flip that round and you focus on all of the things that you're dreaming about, it will help you, it will help seek those out. And I'll give you an example. You buy a new car. Before you buy the car, you don't see them on the road. After you buy the car, you see them everywhere. And that's because it's turning your brain on to seek the opportunities. So I did this. I did this with my TED Talk, just one example of the many, many things I've done. And the third thing, so making a choice is the first step, daring to dream is the second, and the third is taking action. It's all very well to think, I want to do this, this is what it looks like, but if you don't take one step forward, it's never going to happen. And I remember this amazing quote that stuck with me as I was on this journey, and it was, a dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan, and a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. And that's exactly what I did. So I saw that TED Talk, and it was miles away at the time. I was like, it's a bit of a lofty dream, but I'm going to visualise that. And where am I now? Well, I'm nowhere near that. So what steps can I take? How can I help my RAS seek out the opportunities for me every day to take one step further towards that? So I saw the end, I came back to the start, and I started finding opportunities. So I found out that there was a TEDx in Brighton. I found out who the organisers were. It took quite a long time to jump through some hoops to get in front of the right people. And then after a lot of toing and froing, I got sorry, no, we're full. And I was like, okay, I've taken action, that's cool. And I forgot about it. And then 2 days before the event last year, I get a call. Hi, we've had someone drop out and we'd like you to do it, but we need to put it to a committee vote. 24 hours later, I hadn't prepared anything because didn't want to be disappointed. I get a call saying, "You're in. Come for sound check and you'll be on tomorrow." And I pulled it out of my bottom and stood on the stage and did it. And do you know what? Visualising that felt the same. When I visualised how it would feel and then it actually happened, that dream came true. So my advice to you is with anything you do, first of all, believe you are worthy of the trip and become self-aware to your feelings. Then dare to dream. Create your self-awareness anchor and start dreaming in Technicolor and helping your RAS seek out the right things. And third, take action. Look to where you were, where you want to be, come back to the start and take one step forward every day and it will happen for you. And just like I said to my daughter, anything can be real if you use your imagination. Thank you.